The Cincinnati Bengals are the definition of a Cinderella team. This is a team in the past that was known to be pretty mediocre, a team led by Marvin Lewis, Andy Dalton, and AJ Green. And they were always known to be that team that would always lose in the first round of the playoffs. And then that team decided to hedge its bets on Joe Burrow, and then Joe Burrow would tear his ACL in week 11, his MCL, and have ligament damage. Then the Cincinnati Bengals decided to make a pretty crazy draft decision, and they decided to draft Jammar Chase in a 2021 NFL draft, and that played pretty handsomely for the Cincinnati Bengals despite the controversy, because the Cincinnati Bengals were able to beat the boss level Jackson Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs twice to get to Super Bowl. I mean, the story of the Cincinnati Bengals to where they are now is nothing short of incredible. But since many of you are new here, if you could go and subscribe, that would mean the world to me. Go and smash that like button like Joe Burrow hitting Jammar Chase on a deep touchdown, and hit bell notifications to know whenever I have videos like this. And without all being said, let's dive right into today's video. Now, the rise of the Cincinnati Bengals, it really begins on December 31st, 2018. Now, technically, you can say it began with the Cincinnati Bengals drafting key players like Tyler Boyd in 2016 NFL draft, Joe Mixon in 2017 draft, and Jesse Bates in the 2018 draft. But to me, it all started when the Bengals decided to fire Marvin Lewis, because at that time, the Cincinnati Bengals were 6-10, and Marvin Lewis, he was just another guy who could never get the Bengals to the promised land. He would always lose in the first round when he had promising pieces like Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, Andy Dalton, and AJ Green, and the Bengals said enough is enough, let's pull the trigger and let's go in a new direction. And they are doing what a lot of teams are doing, and finding an offensive genius. They started to hire Zach Taylor. Now, Zach Taylor, when he came in Cincinnati, would bring in two coaches who are vital to the Cincinnati Bengals' Super Bowl run. You bring Brian Callahan as his offensive coordinator and Lou Anarumo as his defensive coordinator. And what the Bengals thought when they hired Zach Taylor was they wanted to go in a younger direction. And that is exactly what happened with Zach Taylor, although it would take some time. In Zach Taylor's first year, he would go into 2-14. Now, many Bengals fans were pissed. Many Bengals fans were embarrassed that the Bengals went 2-14, one of their worst records ever. But that turned out to be a gift in disguise for the Cincinnati Bengals, who then decided to move on from longtime quarterback Andy Dalton and decided to draft a new quarterback, a quarterback who would change the city of Cincinnati forever. And in that offseason, we got to see that something just might be brewing in Cincinnati. They signed DJ Reader in free agency, who is now one of the best defensive tackles, and he's one of the main reasons on why the Bengals are so good this year. He has 43 combined tackles, 2 sacks, and he has the best run defense ranking on the team with a 79.1 grade according to PFF. And then the Bengals decided to go and get some safety help outside of Jesse Bates and decided to sign Von Bell. And Von Bell has had an incredible season, as he had 97 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, and 8 passes deflected. And then in the draft, the Bengals would drop the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Burrow, aka Joe Sheesity, with the first pick in the NFL draft. And quite honestly, if the Cincinnati Bengals decided to go with someone like Justin Herbert, they would not be where they are today, because Joe Burrow has literally carried his team on his back, carried the city of Cincinnati in his back to lead them to this incredible Super Bowl round. Then in round 2, the Cincinnati Bengals decided to go and draft T. Higgins in the second round. T. Higgins has absolutely been killing it in the NFL and is proving to be a draft steal. Then they decided to draft Logan Winston, who is quietly becoming one of the best defensive players in the NFL. This year, he's had 6 picks, 2 sacks, 80 solo tackles, 40 assisted tackles. And in the later rounds, they drafted solid but key players in Khalil Keeman and Akeem David Gifford, both of whom would have a major impact on the Bengals Super Bowl, as they both have registered a forced fumble. Khalid had his forced fumble against the Broncos, and Akeem David has his forced fumble against the Ravens, both games in which the Bengals came out with a close win. Now that year would be, just like a typical Bengals season in terms of them not performing well, but boy did it show a lot of promise in what the Bengals would have. For the first time in forever, Bengals fans finally got to see a real franchise quarterback. I mean, Joe Burrow in his rookie year would throw for 2,688 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 picks prior to him tearing his ACL in Week 11 against the now Washington Commanders. And in that season, the Bengals would make a trade, trading Carlos Dunlap to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for a 7th round pick and BJ Finley, and it also signed Quinton Springs during that season to get Joe Burrow some offensive line help. Now that year, the Bengals would go 4-1, and they would make some major money moves. They would cut longtime wide receiver AJ Green, and they would sign Trey Hendrickson. Prior to his time in Cincinnati, had his best season with the New Orleans Saints, having 13.5 sacks, 22 solo tackles, and this past season, Trey Hendrickson would get even better, prove that he is an elite pass rusher in the NFL. He had 14 sacks during the regular seasons, 2.5 sacks in the Bengals playoff run, and he had 7 pressures against the Kansas City Chiefs, and is a major reason on why the Bengals are in a Super Bowl. Now, after getting their biggest signing of the offseason, the Bengals weren't done yet. They were going to go and get 3 cornerbacks to help that secondary, and they were able to get Eli Apple, who's had his ups and downs, but hey, say what you want about him, but Eli Apple is one of the reasons why the Bengals are where they are.
What did he say?
They signed Mike Hilton, who this year is allowing a 56.8 completion percentage and is proving to be a quality slot cornerback. And they would sign Tre'Bez Oazy, who had 2 picks this year, and then they signed Larry Orbison-Speedway, who's had 7 sacks and 49 combined tackles. And then the Bengals went into the season with one mission and one mission only: to get Joe Burrow some help. And many people thought, okay, the Bengals are going to drop Penei Sewell, they're going to get Joe Burrow some offensive line help. But no, they went and shocked the world and drafted Joe Burrow's former teammate Jammar Chase in a move that many people were wary of. But this put up to be genius. Jammar Chase is proving to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. This year, he had 1,445 yards and 13 touchdowns. Then, to get Joe Burrow some help, they drafted Jackson Carman, and they drafted other notable players like Joseph Owazi and Tyler Shuan, another one of Joe Burrow's teammates, and the GOAT, legendary kicker himself, Evan McPherson. And in this season, the Bengals would have one of the most wild seasons ever. I mean, they beat the Minnesota Vikings and they lost somehow to Chicago Bears. I don't know how they did, but hey, I'm a Bears fan. I'll take that. And then they beat the Steelers, beat the Jags, nearly beat the Packers, demolished the Lions out of existence, shocked the Ravens by beating them, somehow lost to the Jets. I don't know what was happening there, Cincinnati. And then they got lit up by the Browns, but then they bounced back, beating the Raiders and the Steelers before getting demolished by Justin Herbert and the Chargers, and then losing to the Kryptonite, the 49ers, and then going on a wild streak, beating the Ravens and beating the Chiefs, and then ending the season as a wild card playoff team. And they would also lose to the Browns, but that game honestly does not matter. And in the wild card game, in one of the greatest games ever, they would beat the Raiders and they would shut down Derrick Henry and the Titans the week after, picking up Ryan Tannehill 3 times, and they would come in clutch. They would save the football world by beating Jackson Mahomes, ending Jackson Mahomes' dance career, and really shocking the Chiefs Nation and really shocking the NFL. And this is how the Bengals got to where they are. It's truly incredible to see how a team that used to get clowned on with Andy Dalton would then drop the legend himself, Joe Sheesity, to him tearing his ACL, to them drafting Seals and T. Higgins, Jammar Chase, signing some very notable players in Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, having key players like Joe Mixon, Ron Bell, CJ Mansuda all develop into stars and pulling off the impossible and, getting to the Super Bowl. But what was your favorite moment of the Bengals season? Let me know that in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I worked really hard on it. Smash the like button, hit notifications, and if you want more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below. And with all being said, good day, and to my fellow Chicago Bears fans, bear down.